Cubing is a strategy that is used primarily for English language learners for reading comprehension and language acquisition skills, and as a high school teacher, this activity is particularly effective. If you were working with younger students, you might want to cut out the items yourself. My students are capable, they measure and they cut in class. We can use the more simplified version for quick activities, and I find that 2 by 2 inches works well, and you need 6 boxes either way. If you want to do the more involved actual template that would become a cube, then this is what that would look like. And I find that 3 inches by 3 inches works well, and then I also use tabs on 3 sections so that once we fold along those dotted lines, it becomes a cube, and then use the tabs and tape them together. And so why cubing is effective is that it allows the students to see a word or a plot structure or any other number of comprehension activities in a variety of ways. And so I use it particularly for vocabulary acquisition for my English language learners. It also works well for comprehension projects for my lower level readers. And the way it works is we select a vocabulary word. In this case, I've picked descending, and we would write the word and its part of speech right here. So we would write descending, and that happens to be a verb. So we would do it just like that. Then we would provide the definition out of the dictionary, and it would be something like falling to earth, let's say. Okay. Then the student comes up with their own synonym. In this case, it might be falling. And then they come up with an antonym, which is the opposite of the word. So they might use rising, or they might even use ascending. Okay. Then they would draw a picture that represents that word. So they might draw a bowling ball. They might show that it's falling. That would be a close approximation. And then they're going to use that word in a sentence. So they would say, I was descending the staircase. Okay? And that's the basics of how it works. And this particular activity takes just a few minutes if you do it this way. Sometimes if we have extra time at the end of class, we might use our 10 minutes completing a cubing activity, waiting for the bell to ring. If we want to do it a little bit more in depth, if we've got a large project coming up, if we've got a big vocabulary test, sometimes I do cubing in groups even, where they get in groups of 5 or 6, and each of them takes one aspect, and in which case we would draw the little boxes on pieces of construction paper and then apply them to a constructed cube. And then they can use a group presentation, and each of them takes their part and explains. I drew the picture of the word, and so on and so forth. And so if we were to do descending, we would use all of the same elements there, but we would take our paper and just fold along those dotted lines, and again they would be filled in just like this. Okay, and we fold, and then we would just fold down our tabs, and then we would put the whole thing together with just a little bit of tape. The students tend to be better at this than I am, but then they would have a cube, and what I like to do is try to make it make sense as much as possible. So you would have the word on this side, you would have a synonym on this side, flip it over on the opposite side, and you have the antonym, then you have the word, you roll it over, you have its definition, then you have the definition again in the form of a picture, and then lastly you roll it over and you have your sentence. So we've kind of come full circle. You've seen all the different ways of defining the word, and then you use it appropriately. And so that's cubing, and I find that to be a very good strategy for my English language learners, and really any of my learners. It's great for my kinesthetic learners. It's a hands-on activity, and the students really relate to it. It's a little something different. I use it in lieu of quizzes sometimes, and they really seem to enjoy it. I've had a lot of success with it.